What's going on, Japsters? This is your boy Sintel with the Intel, and we have had the privilege to check out the DC Fandome section that just came out this morning. They debuted a lot of stuff, but the most important and the most watched and wanted was the Batman trailer that came out with it. This will be the second big part of the trailer that has come with this new Batman franchise, and it offered some interesting and cool tidbits that we didn't get within the first one. But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscription button and click the bell icon so that you can get up-to-date notifications anytime something new like this drops. Give us a thumbs up and leave comments regarding anything that is said, because we want to know what you're thinking. The first thing that you really notice is just the tone of everything, right? It's definitely dark, far more menacing than some of the other things that we've seen in other previous Batman projects. Don't get me wrong, man, this is not to diminish Nolan's Batman, but there is still a part of it that has a little bit more edge, a lot more raw, a lot more visceral. It's like you're eating steak with a serrated blade, you know, you're just getting straight to the meat and, you know, peeling back the bone. Which is great because this story is believed to be taking place around year one of when Bruce Wayne decides he's going to don the cowl and become the Dark Knight himself. The thing about that particular storyline is that the year one Batman is he's very green. He's still rage filled because he's just now beginning to be able to put this rage and anger and this feeling of vengeance into a positive space. Up until year one, he just had to contemplate it and had to deal with a lot of this depression, a lot of this anger. So we're getting a chance to see a young Bruce Wayne. That's one of the big things that you really see in this is the difference in age. All the other previous Batmen, they look like grown men. They look like people that have walked down this path before. They look like they have wisdom, right? This Batman doesn't look like he has wisdom. He looks like he just has raw energy that needs to be expressed in a negative way towards people he doesn't like. And that's what year one needs. It needs for him to have a lot of mistakes that he makes, because if you're doing anything well, you become good and great at anything, there is no way that you can do that without making mistakes. Some of those mistakes are the scars that you see on his back. They're still fresh. He's a young man to be having those type of scars. You would expect like a lot of scars on somebody that has lived a very long time in this game. Like, I'm sure old man Bruce Wayne has, like, his body, it must be riddled with the scars where broken bones have popped through, where bullets have gone through, where he's been knifed through his armor and stuff. But you see that early on, so that lets you know that, you know, those are all monuments of lessons that had to be learned in order for him to be as nasty and as good of a crime fighter as he is. There's also an interesting thing where he gives a quick shout out to the bat symbol, and the bat signal, not so much in terms of I need help, Batman come save us. This is more of just a warning to people outside, the evildoers, and like, listen, yo, I am the boogeyman and I am watching you. Now, they're yelling out police, hands up, and yo, my man doesn't even budge. And what situation have you been in where you hear police hands up, or your heart doesn't drop, or it doesn't race, or you turn around to see exactly what's going on? So this is leading most people to believe that this is an expected encounter. This man, who we believe to maybe be the Riddler, wants the police to come pick him up. He drops a clue in the coffee to let anybody who's paying attention know, I am the Riddler. This is the symbol that you should be scared of too. It's like, I'm gonna leave symbols everywhere, just like Batman kind of leaves symbols everywhere. That's a great reveal. And I love how you don't really see, look at all this red. Red over a field of black. Rage over despair.
It's not just a call.
Now, right there, it's not just a call, it's a warning. Look, check this out. Look at these clowns that are with the face paint, which would lead you to believe that maybe, you know, they may be part of Joker's men. You get the reference of them putting the back signal out, and this is more of a warning. This isn't one of those kind of situations where you get a reveal of the villains doing villainous things and horrible things to individual people. This is more or less like the villains in a bit kind of like scouring, hiding, running from something that would discipline them in a way that they're not ready for, hiding from vengeance. They're backing up, running. Yo, I need you to understand this. Like, check, this is one man. And then you see it. Yo, I love this shot because look how small Batman is. There's darkness all the way around him. It's only like a third of the frame that you can actually see anything. And you have to really pay attention to find out who's doing the fighting, especially in this particular freeze frame. You can't really tell who Batman is. He's just one amongst the many in the night. He knows he is in trouble. You're not intimidating anybody with that war paint that you have on, whatever this ghoulish mask of clownery that you're wearing. Yo, you over here getting choked out and taking a charge at the exact same time. You better recognize what's going on. Yo, the boogeyman is here. And it's the intensity. You heard the heartbeat, right? It's subtle. He doesn't look happy, ladies and gentlemen. And then we're on to the next thing. Just a nice partial reveal of, just so you know that this is a man and we don't get a chance to see what he looks like. Look at the look and the intensity on Batman's eyes, man. This man has a grudge specifically with this man. Something has happened. He has done something to him. Yo, you really see it when he like hits the glass on top of it. Yo, he's literally like shaking. He's like, I can't wait to beat your ass. You don't understand. I've been waiting for this. You lucky this glass is in between me. Because if it wasn't, oh, we'd be going medieval right now. And now we get the next scene coming up and we see this big bright flash of red and orange and this explosion. From a cinematic standpoint, everything else has been dark up until this point. And then you see him meet who we believe to be possibly the Riddler. And then you see this rage kind of rise up. There's a reason why this shot is selected within the trailer. It's Batman's rage starting to boil over. Keep in mind, this is supposed to be a billionaire, right? A billionaire. What billionaire you see walking around looking like this? He can't even get his collar right. What billionaire you know whose collar isn't crisp? Right up on the neck. Tie out, just prominent. Everything's supposed to be like fitting you crisp and clean. He looks like he just woke up off a bender. We know he didn't wake up off a bender. Maybe he had a long night cracking skulls and he's just not feeling up to it. There are no positive colors anywhere within this scene. There's no reds, no yellows, no blues. It's nothing but black as far as the eye can see and different shades of gray. But then something comes in to break the monotony. Yo, it's still black and dark, but it's something that breaks the depression, and that is that leg, that boot that comes out of the car.
I can take care of it.
And then you get the reveal of the absolutely beautiful Zoe. Yo, that shot with them in the background, it's like them against the world. In the foreground, you see nothing but shadows, but in the middle, you see the two of them framed into what could possibly be some type of illumination, maybe a type of happiness, something. It's still the city that he has to protect, but it in itself is not encased in darkness. It has light, positive light shining down on it.
If this continues, it won't be.
That is the Penguin. Colin Farrell, you see scars on his face from whatever it is that he's done to earn those. You know, a little chubby, maybe fed off of the pain that he's inflicted on others, but he's staring out, not in the space of confidence, but more of in the space of worry. Like, there's something out there.
Long before you've nothing left.
And then we also get a shot of Alfred as well. He's always been kind of a little bit clean cut. He's played a lot of times as the role of just like full on the butler, right? Even though he is a butler, but he's a butler that has skills. He's a butler that has history. We've seen other renditions of him where he's been a bit of an advisor, but look at this Alfred's face. Look at the scars that he has on his face. That means he's seen something. You know, it's not just ringing the dinner bell and then Alfred comes and gives you a steak. Yo, Alfred has been in the trenches.
Nothing less.
Now, this is a clue either left possibly by Riddler himself, which is what I believe. Maybe he's left by somebody else, but his question is adding a whole bunch of questions. The big one, the first thing that catches your eye is the sins of my father, which leads you to possibly believe, is he talking about Bruce Wayne's father? And if he is, you know, does he know who Batman is? Are the two of those related? We get a chance to see Bruce Wayne just sitting here checking it out. He's got his shirt off, so it's not like he just stumbled across this. Maybe it's something that he's created himself. Maybe that this is something that Bruce Wayne is pieced together is how he solves his crimes. It's not necessarily like the old school methodology of him going to the Batcave and he's got the computer and then the computer spits out the answers. Maybe this is how Bruce Wayne processes his crime scenes. He's not at home either, because if you look down to the bottom left corner, you'll see one of those police tapes that's off to the side.
I don't care what happens to me.
Yo, and then you see like on the next scene is him saying, I don't care what happens to me. He looks haggard, he looks beat down and tired, his eyes are still blacked out, which means he probably just got done taking the cowl off. Once again, you see a whole bunch of black, you see that red in the background, and then you see that red background and again, like in the midst of all of this darkness is rage, is hate, is revenge. And once again, it's that visceral fighting element that you see.
Hear everything
You get a chance to see those flashing red lights. Like you need to be on alert with this type of rage and hate that's going down. This is personal. Now here, there's a couple of scenes that have used flashing lights to show the muzzle fire and then show things happen within the muzzle fire. Jaby Koay gave an instance on the muzzle fire. A movie that did it well that he recommended was Equilibrium, and funny enough, it had Christian Bale in it. And we get a chance to see this scene all over again with Batman coming in. It's all black, and then you see like each one of those muzzle fires looks almost like a plea for help, because you realize that he's taking the bullets and he's still coming, like nonstop, kind of like in a horror movie, like when you're shooting Jason or Freddy or Michael Myers, and they just kind of just take it and shrug it off, and then they just continue, and then all you see is what happens when he finally catches up to you and puts his hands on you. It's a beautiful scene, and it's all done in complete darkness. There is one thing I do have a question, is that even though he's not completely bulletproof, you know, he still has, you know, his face that's exposed. So I don't know if that's necessarily the wisest of choices, but we've already seen earlier in the trailer where he says, yo, I don't care what happens to me. He obviously doesn't. Like if you look, like if you notice, like the people that are shooting, if you can see some of these frame by frames, they are really just shooting wildly. They're shooting out of fear. These aren't like Navy SEALs over here trying to go for headshots. They're just trying to keep this man off of them. It's just sporadic firing.
I'm vengeance.
And then I'm vengeance. Boom. It's one of the few times that we get a chance to see a different color outside of just black and red, and that is the blue from the Batmobile. And I love how it's not over the top and pretty, something that a billionaire would spend money on. This looks like it is function more than anything else. It doesn't look like it's completely armor plated. It doesn't look like it's some kind of tank. It looks like it's just good old fashioned American muscle that's built to sound loud and to be heard and to be feared. Nothing about that is quiet. Nothing about that seems streamlined. It's like, I'm coming to get your ass. That is what the Batmobile is showing in these frames. He's on the top of this building, as you see right here. You see the cops coming around. He's got his arms spread, and just when you think that you're gonna have him, you know, to me, if this is like Batman Year One, this would be like one of those good moments where you get a chance to see Batman unveil his glider. But if you're a cop chasing this man down and then he just willy-nilly just leaps off of the roof, this is just another way of building the lore and building the legend. And then you get a chance to see like how swift he moves, because there's a shot that you see coming out of a building and Batman is just literally just whizzing right by super fast. Boom. It's just like, you barely get a chance to see. It adds to the fact that this justice is coming swift and you're not gonna see it coming. Boom. And then you get to see dirty Bruce Wayne, dirty Batman. He's already been through it. Maybe he's been thrown in the mud. He doesn't look bruised as much as he looks like he's been thrown into like some sewer water or whatever, but he's still looking up, still focused. Now, here's the part that to me is very telling, and that is when when Batman is just over here and he just lets loose. It's not just, I'm just gonna beat you so I can take you to the cops and so that they can put you into a squad car or so that you can see in front of the judge. No, he is administering justice right there on the spot. And if the look on Catwoman's face as he's sitting here watching Batman beat the shit out of this poor dude. I mean, it's hardcore. It's filled with emotion. It's one of those things where, like, there's that saying that people that shoot people with guns, it's not as much of an intimate type of a release when you're trying to kill somebody as it is if you're trying to stab somebody with a knife. And even more so when you're trying to choke somebody or strangle somebody. The closer you are to the person that you're administering this harmful act to, the more personal it is. And if you really get a chance to see that in this scene when you see Batman lose it. Look at the look on her face. Everybody backs up. Even Commissioner Gordon. That's not even the same scene, right? More than likely, that's not even the same scene. But as he's over here pummeling this poor man, yo, look at the look on Catwoman's face. She's like, yo, are you for real? you need help. These may not be connected, but they're connected in this trailer to imply that. Yo, there's a flinch from Commissioner Gordon. Like I said, it may not be connected within the film, but it's connected within the trailer. He backs back like, oh my God, yo, this isn't right. That's not human. Everybody backs up. And then you get a chance to see the justification and the reason for why he's doing that. You get a chance to see the scars on Bruce Wayne's back. This is a young man. He hasn't been doing this for a very long time, and he's got what looks like scratches, scrapes, maybe a couple of bullet holes. He's already been through it. He's paid the price. He knows what the outcome is. Shot in the back, stabbed, looked like a bunch of knife wounds, and yet he's still suiting up. Now the red, there's the other thing. Okay, so the red is another cool little visual cue. Red is once again talking about his rage and the way that he wants to inflict his justice. And then you see the light spill out on what could possibly be bad guys. So everybody is going to feel this rage. Anything that the light touches that's red, more than likely is going to feel his rage. See y'all, see you in hell. Now I seriously doubt Batman is the person that put that. Maybe not. But you see some white gloves holding it, so it leads me to believe that's probably a police officer collecting it for evidence. It looks like that could also be a mirror as well. So see you in hell as if it's some type of reflection. Now, here's the thing that I really liked and that I caught regarding this, and that is when you get a chance to take a look at the cowl. This is at Batman's headpiece. A lot of times when you see it, it's just one piece. It's smooth. It looks like it came out of like a printing machine. It looks like it has purpose. This looks like it has been stitched together by hand, especially the nose piece right there, because you can see the individual stitching going on, which leads a couple things to believe. One, it's not bulletproof. Two, when you're hand making something like this, you're investing a piece of yourself. You're investing that kind of dedication. And for him to put that into his mask, the thing that is inflicting fear, that says a lot about the mentality of the person that's wearing it. Okay, and then we get to see this explosion. So we see DOA, so dead on arrival. It looks like it's got some boxes. I see a picture where somebody looks like it may be being mourned. The car doesn't look like it's a hearse, so it may not necessarily be carrying the dead, but obviously somebody's making a spectacle. There's a lot of chairs all over the place, so maybe it was a service that was being held and it had been booby-trapped, and now you see Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, being blown back from it. And then we get a chance to see Catwoman yet again off into the shadows, having a little bit more concern. Each time we see her, at first she looks like she's in control, and she is. She's kicking people in the head, jumping off buildings, but then things start changing a little bit as the trailer keeps going along. Then the next big scene that you see is when Batman is beating the brakes out of somebody, and she looks concerned, like she's dealing with somebody that is completely unhinged. And now you see Batman getting blown back, and the look on her face is reflecting her concern. Speaking of concern, we get a chance to see Alfred too with his concern. Once again, you know, this is a billionaire's home. The dress may not necessarily look like it's absolutely spiffy. There's a little bit of unkeptness to it. Maybe he's been sitting up watching Master Bruce go out, and he's just seen a troubling news report, which could be the case because you look on the TV in the background, that looks like a news ticker at the bottom with somebody speaking on behalf of it. But, you know, he's certainly concerned about something. Dear God, like, what have I created? What has Bruce Wayne done? What are the depths that he's willing to do in order to get his revenge? And then you get a chance to see him with his mouth open in the Batmobile, inflicting his justice, chasing somebody down with absolute pure focus. And who is it? The Penguin, who thinks he's getting away.
I got you.
Nah, bruh, you don't have me. Ever. Pure disregard for his own personal safety, and then rams him. See, that's the thing that we got to keep in mind. Like, this dude is off. He's unhinged. This isn't the cold, calculated Batman that we've seen in a bunch of other things. This dude is emotionally driven. He's willing to destroy himself in order to get to you, driving through fire, driving through debris, ramming the Penguin's car, causing him to flip, and then watching him slowly get out of the car because he knows he's about to inflict this justice at his own pace, in his own way, in the rain. And we're sitting and we're flooded with oranges type, red type light, which is another representation of how he's feeling in the rage that he wants to inflict upon everybody. There's nothing you can do. You can't run from this. We're here. The Batman, ladies and gentlemen. You hear how menacing it is? And now, I think that we're gonna get an opportunity to see something that we've never seen regarding the Batman franchise. The unhinged version of him, the more part of him that many comic book readers already have a very good idea of who he is and what he's about. He's crazy in some instances. This dude is not one of us when it comes to be mentally stable. You know, there's a lot of arguments that say that him and the Joker were one and the same. It's just one knows how to manage their lunacy a lot better than the other. One has more purpose of where to put that rage and lunacy, whereas like the Joker just gives it to everybody. I'm here for that. This isn't going to be a pretty Batman. It's all dark. It's all gray. Even people with money look like they could be dressing in a much better, more trim way that facilitates the type of money that they have. This Bruce Wayne doesn't appear to be doing that. It looks like there's only a few moments of actual light within this man's life, and that looks like it could be the relationship that he has with Catwoman, and of course the relationship that he has with Alfred. Outside of that, it's going to be hell on wheels, and I for one am here for it. So that was a really fun breakdown of a moment to moment regarding the new trailer that is dropped. You let me know what you think I hit spot on, what you think I may be really off on. I think that this is going to be something that we've never seen before. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. But before we break out, make sure you hit that subscription button. Click the bell icon so that you can get up-to-date notifications regarding anytime we drop this new information like this. I love doing these deep dives. It's fun to get a chance to really look into the mind of the director or even the person that's creating the trailer to get you hyped up and ready to see the full thing. Yo, it's your boy Sintel with the Intel. I'ma holla. Peace out.